evening. I'm calling the February 17th meeting of the Amherst County Board of Supervisors to order. The purpose of this meeting is a budget workshop. Board, we have two things on the agenda, the current budget overview and the department request in the capital improvement program. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Motion on the floor by Mr. Adams. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I vote aye. All right, Mr. Bryant.
Okay, good afternoon, Board of Supervisors. I want to thank you for your support. And we're here. We're budget season. It begins. But it really doesn't begin right now. It began October the 8th. I know it's hard to see on this calendar. I first want to thank all the people sitting here. These are the people that put the budget together. These are the people that submit items. Again, we started this budget process October the 8th, sending out documents and schedules and department heads requesting capital improvement items, position request, their O&M budget. This is a long process that goes on for quite a bit of time. So again, a special thanks to all of our staff, to the constitutional officers that spend time doing this. And I would just want to point out, who never likes recognition, but Leslie Sprouse put together this document. She did a very professional job, very good job. And I'm going to steal a little bit of Tracy's thunder, but there's your CIP in this document. There are the position requests. It's tabbed out. If you look at this, there's little yellow pieces of paper tabbed out, and also the outside agency funding requests. Leslie spent extra time coming in, working overtime, putting this together. And then Tracy Morgan has been a complete superstar and has spent countless hours working, long hours, to put the budget presentation together for you. So, Tracy, thank you for all the work you've done on this in such a short amount of time. What I want to point out to you is a few things. Tonight, and I know it's hard to see, but I'm going to go over a few big picture items. What we're going to give you tonight are revenue projections, the department request, and CIP. We don't need you to respond, or we're not asking for you to make any decisions tonight. We're throwing everything at you tonight, okay? We're giving you all of the requests for CIP, all of the positions that have been asked for, all of the O&M that's been requested. I haven't even started to trim any of it back. I don't want to yet. I want you, as the board, to see everyone's request. I want you to understand what departments are asking for. They're here tonight. If you have questions for them, you can ask them questions. But we're going to go over everything. We're going to go over what we believe the projected revenues are and seek your feedback. And we're going to present all this to you. At our next meeting, March the 3rd, we're going to need to start narrowing that down, okay? And we're also going to ask you to give us a tax rate that we can advertise. I'm going to recommend that we go higher than what we think we need for the advertisement rate, and then we can bring that back down as this process matures. Tuesday, March the 17th, we'll bring in nonprofit agencies. We'll have a workshop. The schools will also present the budget at the March 17th meeting. So we'll have a workshop then. March 25th, we will have a called meeting for the Board of Supervisors to finalize the budget. And when we say finalize, that's finalized to give us data that we can advertise. Okay, so that's so we can advertise. At that night, so we'll have a workshop on March 25th, and that night, public hearing. We'll have a public hearing at 7 to set the new tax rate. And as I wrote to you in an email, by state law, we can't have the public hearing to set the tax rate and the public hearing for budget the same night. So this is a different year. We haven't done this in 6 years. We have split that now. Okay, this is different than the last 5 years because we haven't had to go through this this process in a while. So that's why there will be a public hearing to set the tax rate and then a public hearing later. So April 21st, public hearing to adopt the budget, the CIP, and the school's budget. And then, again, state law says after the public hearing for the budget, you have to wait 7 days. So then we're asking you to adopt the budget at the May 5th meeting, the budget, the CIP, and the schools, and the tax rate adoption. Are there any questions on the big picture, what we're asking? Again, tonight we're throwing everything at you. We're going to overwhelm you with numbers, and then we'll start to trim it back. Is there any questions you have on this schedule Concerns? Does it make sense?
Forward. All right, good.
Okay, I'm going to now ask Tracy to come up and present the budget report.
Good evening, everyone. I just also want to thank Ms. Browse for all of her help with this presentation. She also helped with the slides, and she came in most of the day yesterday to try to get me caught up and get all this to you tonight. Turn this towards me, Jeremy. Okay. All right. So this full expense budget, right where it stands right now, is a total of almost $73 million. This budget does include all CIP requests as well as 33 new positions that total $2,841,000, and that does include all benefits and insurance at the highest rates possible, since we don't know what anybody coming in hired will take as far as insurance. Some of these positions also have requested equipment costs associated with them. That equipment cost is a total of $450,000. Some of those equipment include trucks, cars, trailers, and turnout gear in the case of EMS. The budget also includes a $500,000 contingency budget that we plan to use for unforeseen expenses such as high balance leave payouts for employees that leave or retire, and for possible grant matches. The budget includes $5.3 million in debt service expense. That figure includes $4,850,000 in current principal and interest associated with our current loans. It also includes $500,000 for a proposed new fire and EMS building at the Amelon Commerce Center. The budget does propose a 3% raise for all employees. If the board approves to go that route, that includes an increased expense of almost $550,000. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the CPI for all items at the end of December 31st, 2025 was at 2.7%. I also did send out an email to the Virginia Governmental Finance Officers polls to ask what other localities were doing as far as raises are concerned, and for those that responded, the majority of the localities are given a 3% raise. If the board does choose to go another route, a 2.5% raise will equal $362,000, and a 2% raise would equal $270,000. I will also tell you that according to some of the state documents that I've seen, the state budget is proposing a 2% increase, but they also are proposing a 2% bonus effective in June. Staff recommends, rather than going the bonus route, that the board approve a 3% raise.
Did you, Ms. Tucker?
Chairman, what is your request for the format? Is it ask questions as we go? What do you want to do?
Well, obviously, it's whatever the board wants to do. Personally, I would like to let the staff get through the presentations and then ask the questions. Otherwise, I'm not sure. we'll
I
be doing
completely
the
agree
best.
with that, so I'm
Are
going to
you
have a
okay?
question later.
Everyone all right with that?
Yeah.
All right, please. Thank you, Ms. Moore.
All right, this slide will show some of the big ticket items that resulted in the big increase. First of all, the school is requesting an additional $1.6 million above their request last year. CSA funding from the county has went up $225,000. Ms. Tables has informed me that the estimated expenses for next year are about $3.5 million. The county is required by law to fund that at 25%, resulting in the CSA funding to have to go up from $650,000 to $875,000. So that is an increase we can't get by. The landfill county funding has increased almost $120,000. However, the majority of that is related to a position request. So if that position is not approved, that increase, of course, will go away. The regional jail has requested an increase of $179,000. That is based on an estimate of the number of inmates that Amherst County will send to the jail. It is possible at the end of the year, if this amount has been overstated, that the county will receive a reimbursement of overpaid funds. This current year, we will receive $105,000 credit from the jail for overstated funds that they've received from us. And the Greater Lynchburg Transient Company is requesting a 20% increase in their funding, and that increase would go up by $18,235 for a total of $109,000. Mr. Bryant has reached out to them to request if there's anything we can do to decrease that amount, and we don't have actual figures yet on what any decrease would look like. At the bottom of the slide, you'll see a list of the departments with the largest increases so far. I'll go through some of them the best of my knowledge, but of course, everybody's here tonight that can answer any questions you may have. First is EMS, that shows a proposed increase of $2.3 million. This increase does include a total of 16 new positions, which altogether total over $2.1 million in salary and benefits. That includes 12 new EMS positions to add a 5th medic unit for a 24-hour service, as well as 4 daytime firefighters. It also includes roughly $125,000 for additional equipment for turnout gear for those new employees, as well as $56,000 for specialty training and to launch a community paramedic program for 2 days a week. The Sheriff's Office budget is an increase of $1.5 million. This includes 7 new vehicles, requesting on-call stipends, requesting compensation to medics on the special response team, increased training, increased uniform budget, and an increase in software needs for body camera storage. IT budget is requested to go up $731,000. This amount does include 3 position requests for full benefits, as well as items related to the recent strategic plan and extra equipment needed if those 3 positions are approved. The public safety budget shows a proposed increase of $511,000. This increase includes an additional $500,000 to finance 2 fire engines and 2 brush trucks over a 10-year period. Grounds maintenance shows an increase of $316,000. All of this increase is related to the request for 2 new maintenance techs, as well as a new truck with dump body, snowplow, and trailer if those 2 new positions are approved. Planning budget shows an increase of $252,000. This increase is also related to the requested position, as well as a new county vehicle if that position is approved. Building inspection shows an increase of $225,000. $200,000 of that increase is related to a requested increase in code enforcement to take down 6 additional structures. The registrar is requesting $150,000 extra for new voting equipment due to the fact that their current equipment is 10 years old and they're currently experiencing some equipment failure at the polls. Finally, the victim witness budget is increased by $53,000 due to proposing a part-time position go to full-time. And those are the largest increases throughout the budgets. The health insurance cost is expected to go up 14.4%. Right now, we're looking at $425,000 increase in just health insurance cost. Ms. Caitlin just received the proposal this morning, so right now we don't know too much information other than this increase is due to large drug and pharmaceutical claims. We are going to look at other options, but just to let you know, some of the other options would include self-insurance, which would require a $1 million upfront reserve payment for immediate claims, and self-insurance would require an administrative cost for a third party to administer the program. Our other options would be to go to programs like Cigna, Centera, Aetna, or a standalone Anthem like the county did have, but all of those are seeing a 30% increase, which is one of the reasons the county currently switched to the TLC this year. But like I said, that's all the information we have at this time. We just received that proposal this morning. If we did leave the local choice, just to let you know, there's also a termination fee. We also do not know that termination fee at this time. We'll find out about that when we have a meeting, and we're not allowed to re-enter the TLC program for another 3 years. 3 years. This is a capital improvement snapshot summary. This does not include a recent request from the Sheriff's Department that I just received today. It was my understanding that it was supposed to have been carried forward from last year, and I was unaware of that, so I apologize. But we will have this added in, and we will get you an updated copy. The sheriff, you should have a paper copy on top of your notebooks that includes all of these requests and documentation. So the $3.9 million figure that you see at the bottom of this spreadsheet, along with a roughly $200,000 request from the Sheriff's Office that came in today, is where I'm getting the $4.1 million capital improvement cost. Mr. Bryan and I have went through this, and we have ranked them from what we feel is most important. The red is critical needs that are must-haves, that we feel are must-haves right now. The blue are needs, but not necessarily, we don't really need them right now, but they are needs. And of course, the greens are wants. We will be sending the board an updated copy of this along with another column added. And we're going to ask you all to please go through and rank what you all feel is important and get it back to us so that we can have that compiled for you for the March meeting so that we can review that. This is a summary of the position requests that we've received from all departments. I will remind you that the salary and benefits that you see on this slide do include their salary, their health insurance, their FICA, and all VRS benefits. So that is everything in their salary and benefits as well as any equipment that was associated with the request. And all of these requests and justifications are also in the packet that you've received tonight. This is a spreadsheet summarizing the optional outside agency request. You can see that currently the total request is $129,000. All of these individual requests are also in your packet. Mr. Bryant has went through and recommended level funding for those who we've received packets from in the past. You'll see that this is a first-year request from Amherst Football League, so we are just requesting a level funding for them compared to the other organizations. The Monacan Indian Nation submitted a request for $30,000 for their food bank, and since we give Neighbors Helping Neighbors 5, we took Monacan's request down to 5 as well. And right now, SERCAP is submitting their first request, so we have not recommended any funding for them this year, taking the total budget down to $69,000, if that's what y'all wish to go with as well. And before I go to revenues, is there any questions on the expense side?
Board,
I do.
Ms. Tucker?
I would encourage us as we go through this to refrain from using acronyms they're not really familiar, because I've already gotten a text already, but people didn't know what something was. So, you know, to you, it makes perfectly good sense, but it doesn't to everybody. Like SERCAP, what is SERCAP?
It is,
That was one of my questions.
yeah. Southeast Rural Community Assistant Project.
Okay, thank you. And the one that they inquired about was, let's see, where was it? C. When you got CPI on the first page, is that Consumer Price Index?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay, all right, that was it, thank you.
Any other questions, board?
Yeah, Mr. Chair. Ms. Morgan, when it gets to the self-insurance, I know you guys, as far as the health insurance options, I know you guys said you were early on in this, kind of in the infancy as far as where you got your information. But are we still exploring any options as far as combined efforts with the school system on this? Is that going to be an option, Caitlin?
So we are working with Kim Lakonich. I just
Okay.
gave her the data that she needs today, so I don't have any further information to share on that, but we are still exploring that.
Okay. And then with that, and this, Caitlin, this may be for you as well, that termination fee that Tracy was talking about, what is that termination fee based off of? I know we don't have a number, but how do they determine that termination fee?
It's based on claims data,
Okay.
so as soon as I have that estimate, I'll share that as well.
Do you have any historical data to show what our claim history is so far through this FY?
Only through October.
And how are we doing?
It's only 4 months of data, so it's not great to go off of.
Okay.
But they are supposed to give me updated data within this week.
Okay. All right, so you should have that to us soon then. Okay, that's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Campbell, did you have anything?
No, sir.
You?
I have nothing.
Following up on Mr. Adams talking about the insurance, with this local choice, is there any options to improve it? Because I've had a lot of employees contact me about how it's not very good, right? So is there anything we can do with them to improve it, to make it better for our employees?
I would share that frustration. I get complaints fairly regularly. Ms. Morgan, I think you've worked with the local choice for longer than I have. Not really. they're a Section 125 plan, and so they're very heavily regulated by the IRS. So it's a state-run program. They're very, very strict. The only other thing that I think that we could explore is an option with like a lower deductible. That's really the only option we would have within the local choice.
So, I don't mean to put a lot more work on you, but what would be helpful to me is if you could maybe kind of document for us kind of what the issues are that the employees have been bringing forward to you, because that's gonna weigh heavily on whatever decision I make.
Okay? I'd be
Right.
happy to get that to you,
Thank you so much.
of course.
The other thing relates to GLTC. I don't know where to read it, but, basically, do we know what our ridership numbers are?
We did receive an email from one of the representatives with them after Mr. Bryant reached out regarding how we could reduce that funding. There was discussion on possibly cutting out a couple of routes with the lowest number of riders. I think one was an early morning route with maybe 2 riders, if I'm not mistaken, or potentially a midday route. But like I said, we have not received any numbers back on what it would take our funding down to if we did cut out those routes.
I'd kind of like to know what the ridership is overall, right? And let's look at it from there. How many routes they do on a daily basis, what the ridership is. They ought to be able to give you that information,
Okay.
all right? And I think that is it.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
All right. Revenues. So my proposed current revenues total right at $58 million. That is based on an equalization rate after the reassessment. So as you all know, our current tax rate is 61 cents. And before the reassessment, that equaled $255,000 per penny of assessed tax rate. After the reassessment, that cost of a penny per $100 of assessed value went up to $405,000, which brought our equalization rate down to 39 cents per $100 of assessed value. So that is what my proposed revenue budget is based on, just so that y'all see true numbers as level funding. Just to give the board an idea, not that we're recommending this in any way, shape, or form, but if the board's wish was to fully fund the budget as presented with all CIP, all position requests, all increased O&M budgets, you would need a tax rate of 76.5 cents.
Okay, I'm gonna stop you there. So, so you're telling me even after reassessment, we'd have to increase the tax rate to 76.5 cents
Yes. but-
over what the 60?
Yes, sir. The current requested budget at $73 million is $15 million over what my proposed estimated revenues are. And I have a slide at the end that shows you why I'm proposing that.
All right, thank you.
A quick question. What was the last year's revenue projection?
60 million.
So you're coming in
gonna-
at a, okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm going to show you why. Just to give the board an idea of what we're looking at, prior to reassessment, the average home cost, average home value in Amherst County was $180,000. Based on the current rate of 61 cents per $100 of assessed value, the average bill for real estate was $1,100 a year. After reassessment, the average home cost went up to $296,000. Just for example, and this, once again, is not a rate that we are recommending, if the board were to approve a tax rate at 55 cents, that would increase the average homeowner's real estate bill to $1,600 a year for a $500 annual increase or $41.63 monthly. That's just an example of what you may be looking at as you think about this. Just for your information, your other revenue rates within the county are $3.45 per $100 of assessed value for personal property rates. You have a $2 machinery and tools tax rate per $100 of assessed value, a 61-cent rate per $100 of assessed value for mobile homes, $3.45 per $100 of assessed value for business equipment, and a 5% tax of gross receipts on your lodging tax. Now, this is my revenue summary. I hope y'all can hear me as I step away, because I've got to show you. All right, so this column is my proposed FY27.
We can't see
Yeah, we
that.
can't see you, Tracy.
That is my proposed FY27 budget.
Okay.
How do I get that? Yeah, there we go. This column is your revenues for this current year. This was the revenue budget.
You want a chair?
What?
You want a chair to stand in? I can tell you, I couldn't reach it.
So, looking up, starting at the top, see how I proposed a big decrease to, down from FY26 to FY27 of $255,000 on your personal property tax total? That is because if you look at previous years, we've been consistently collecting roughly a little over $10 million. This year's budget was at $10,700,000. As you can see, halfway through the year, we've only collected $8.7 million. We would need to get quite a bit more to even get to this year's recommended revenues. I'm not sure we would get there. So to be conservative, I brought it back down to $10,500,000. If you go down to the $530,000 decrease, that is your local sales and use tax. If you look across historically, you will see in previous years, we've collected roughly $4.5 million. This year, $5.3 million was budgeted. I did find documentation on the state website that was dated March of 2005 that said the state estimated that Amherst County would receive that amount. However, as you can see, halfway through the year, we're not even halfway to that $5.1 million figure. And the state website also acknowledges that since COVID funding has disappeared and the stimulus funds to the counties have disappeared, that the economy is leveling back out and they're not and citizens are not spending as much because the stimulus money is gone. So the state website is estimating that the revenue funding will level out and we won't see as much as we have been seeing. So I have taken that back down $530,000. The other local taxes with a decrease of $458,000, you will see historically we have been receiving just under $7 million. That category includes your meals tax and your cigarette tax and your lodging tax. So once again, that's going to be a revenue that we're going to see level out, that we may start seeing decreases in. And as you can see, halfway through the year, we're not even halfway to that recommended budget, because we're only at the 3.1 when the budget was at 7.3. So I don't think we'll reach it. So I've brought that revenue projection back down. The $135,000 decrease under use of property, that is for our interest that we receive on bank deposits, like our investments and our savings. Of course, interest rates are down, so the interest that we receive on all of our investments and all of that has gone down as well. The $503,000 decrease that I'm proposing, that is related to a DSS state reimbursement. What I have found that happened was the DSS received state and federal funding. I think there was a posting error in last fiscal year that resulted in all of federal funding going to the state revenue line. So I think it was overstated when this was budgeted. I've had to correct that and move the state funding to federal. And to correctly state what we'd be getting from state for DSS funding, I had to bring that budget down $500,000. The $391,000 decrease that you see, that's an even in and out. That revenue is brought in for the purpose of a particular interest expense related to a loan. So that is money that we actually receive for a particular expense purpose, and that interest expenses went down this year to $391. So that's why that amount went down, but that was never to supplement any other part of the budget. And then lastly, the $1 million decrease that you see at the end, historically, those totals have been brought from the general fund reserve or other funds. Last year, that $1.1 million that was budgeted included $495,000 from the future fund for the purchase of an ambulance and $475,000 from the general fund reserve to use $200,000 for the reassessment, and the other $275,000 was for the remaining HVAC fixes at the courthouse. So this budget does not include anything from anywhere else except for the $116,000, which from my understanding from Mr. Beam is an agreement that the E911 funds would cover 2 dispatch positions. So that's transferring in the cost of salary and benefits for 2 dispatch positions from the E911 fund. So your total revenue projections do not include covering any revenues from any other funds as it did in the past. If you wish to do that, you can, but I did not do that right now. So with all of those changes, that's why your revenue projections have went down $2.5 million with level real estate. Now, with all that being said, if you elected to do just the health increase and just the 3% raises and made everything else stay level funding, no O&M increases, no additional positions, no additional equipment, your level funding budget would be almost $62 million. And that is just for a 3% raise and your health insurance costs. Questions, concerns, thoughts, opinions?
Where do we start?
I have a quick, just looking at this, like your local sales and use tax, you know, we had a budget of $5.1 million, and so far, I don't know when this dates to, 2.2 has been collected.
We receive a check from the state monthly. It is back, like our January check is technically for November sales tax. But we do receive a check monthly from the state for distribution of our sales tax collected.
Okay, so that is basically pretty much level from 24.
Correct. Yeah, and that was the point that Mr. Bryan and I talked about. If you look at my proposed FY '27 revenues, they're in line with what we actually got last fiscal year.
All right, I have more, but yeah, I was just looking, that was kind of concerning to me because you would figure your sales tax would trickle up slightly.
I'm sorry.
And then regarding your real estate taxes, you got let's see here. It's a slight increase on your real estate taxes.
So I
only.
budgeted the increase based on the new Amazon facility and what that value was against the current tax rate and what we would get from that just if we kept anything current. That was what I did with that.
So this is based on equalization.
Yes, this is based on equalization.
Gotcha. All right, board.
Mr. Chair, and I'm glad, I'm sorry.
No,
Ms.
go
Tucker,
ahead,
go ahead.
Chris.
No, go ahead, Ms. Tucker.
Yeah, just briefly, can you go back again to the state funding? I mean, we're $500,000 under what we had projected. What was the rationale for that one?
So DSS receives state funding and federal funding. When I was trying to pull together these spreadsheets, I saw that there was no state funding for last year in the state revenue line. So what happened was the federal revenue that we received erroneously got posted to the state revenue, overstating the state revenue.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that was kind of just a budgeting error that was, based on what was posted.
Okay.
But once I move that and correct what we could receive, it would take down that state funding $503,000.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Adams.
First and foremost, I want to commend you for your presentation.
Thank you.
This was a kind of a breath of fresh air, even though it's kind of some gloomy information. So I appreciate all the hard work that you and everybody in this room has done to get this information to where it's at. That's first and foremost. Ms. Irby, I'm glad you're here. I'm gonna put you on the spot. Don't throw darts at me. Not yet. So what can we contribute? I mean, the obvious answer would be less registered vehicles in Amherst, or that would contribute to the personal property taxes, right?
Ms. Irby, could you come to the mic, please?
Have we seen that big of a decrease when you went and ran your books for personal property? Does that make sense?
For last year?
Well,
I mean, I don't run the books,
that's right, because you won't know that until May, correct?
the latter part of May or June.
Okay, all right, my mistake. Yep, I just remembered when I asked you the question, so I appreciate that. So, we potentially could see an increase with that number once Ms. Irby gets her accurate numbers at the end of May,
Potentially.
potentially.
I don't think it would be a whole lot.
I agree with you.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not looking for a miracle.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Campbell, Mr. Pugh? All right, just so I'm understanding. So your revenue summary is 57,746, or
Correct.
roughly $58 million. That's level funding, that's no 3%, that's no insurance changes. You said something at the end about the cost of living, and I think you mentioned like a $62 million number. Did I hear that wrong?
If you chose to do away with all capital improvements this year and all position requests, and you chose to tell everybody to do level funding with no proposed increases in their budget, and you did just the health insurance increase, which we have to do, but with just the health insurance increase and a proposed 3% raise, the total budget would be almost 62 million. And that's keeping everything else level funding. Also, maybe I should point out that too, historically, from what I'm being told, capital improvements were not actually budgeted in the budget. So of course, you're seeing a $4 million increase right off the bat from capital improvements that we're actually putting in the budget this year. So that's a big hit as well. And that's all the capital improvements requests. We have not cut off anything to recommend anything on what we think we should fund. That is a true, what all requests are across the board, $4 million.
And if I may, a lot of that has to do with the transfer to the general fund out of our rainy day fund. I mean, we've used that, and that was included in all these other budgets where you got a $60 million budget, you had $1.1 million coming
Yes.
out of, and then if you go back, $2.8 million. So that's one reason you're seeing
Yes.
a large discrepancy. Is that correct? And based on what we do this year, that could fluctuate too with how much money if we do decide to use the general fund.
Except we haven't, as Tracy said, we're recommending not doing where we did before, where we were using money from the general fund. None of that, we're not proposing any use of the general fund in this budget.
We're actually doing a real budget.
Correct.
Yeah, real budget.
Yeah.
And Ms. Morgan, this does, so that gap between, 58 and 72, that includes the 1.6 request from the school system?
Correct, that is included.
Okay. Any other questions on revenue projections? All right, you want to move on to the CIP? Or no? Need a break? Can I get you a water?
No, I'm good.
Good, okay.
Yeah. A lot of these questions will probably need to come from the department heads. We've just put everything together and ranked them in what we believe are our most important order. Any questions that you may have pertaining to these requests should probably be directed to the department heads at this time.
I mean, this, obviously I can't speak for you guys, but this is the first time we're really seeing it. Can you just go down the list and maybe give us your understanding of what it is and go from there?
Okay, so the number one request is EMS equipment replacement, and that is for Mr. Beam in the Public Safety Department. If I'm correct, this would include your tough books?
No,
No?
sorry. The number one request there, that's a cardiac monitors, doing all the Joel's. As you know, they have about an 8-year life cycle. Some of ours go back almost 15 years. So this redoes that fleet of cardiac monitors and our stair chairs, which are out of compliance, or some of them are getting out of compliance. And that funding goes over a 5-year period. So instead of seeing it all at one time, we do it over a 5-year period. We get all the replacement in the beginning, but we finance it over a 5-year period. So that's the reason you see that with out years there.
So that's $1 million over, oh, I see it right there. Yep.
Yes, sir. And that's 12 cardiac monitors? 13 cardiac monitors, all the service plans for all those years that go with that for every monitor, and stair chairs for every ambulance.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Number 2 is updating the website. I believe that y'all have been made aware that our website will be obsolete effective end of December. It will be obsolete effective the end of December, and we will not be able to pull information from our website effective October 1. So that is critical because we need to start moving that information over to a new platform and try to get our website up and running before the end of the year, so we don't lose a website.
And if I may, we have an agenda item coming up because we just learned about that a few months ago, and Ms. Vire and her team are going to bring an agenda item at the next meeting to address that.
Now, is that for a consultant to come in and do it? Or?
We're working through vendors right now to make a recommendation to the board.
The comprehensive plan update, of course, is required by code. I think this was actually pushed back from last year as well, so that's why it's been put up on the critical part. So I'm not sure we actually get penalized or anything for that not being done. PS devices, cradle points, and antennas. Jackie.
Jackie and Brad. What this is replacing all the tough books, the MDTs. All of his are running Windows 10, which is no longer supported, and for self-explanatory reasons, we need to move them. For security reasons, they can no longer get updates, patch updates, or anything for Windows. So to protect all of that equipment, they've never been part of a replacement cycle. So this would be to bring all of their current devices up to date. And from that point, we would start to build them into our normal replacement cycle. And Brad has taken care of this out of his department before, but part of the strategic plan was to consolidate the purchasing of technology equipment into my budget. Brad and I've talked, and Tracy and I've talked as well. It would be a separate line item in my budget, so we do keep the public safety equipment separate from the county's equipment, just so we know we're expending those funds in the right way. It'd be a separate line item added to my budget.
Okay.
Okay?
So, hang on. So with that, where, I know we've had discussion even in the IT strategic plan that our CAD program is like, we're
It's a
like
great
way
point.
behind, right?
We are.
So how is that gonna play into this?
So what we're going to do, as you remember, the one thing we talked about from this last year doing with a capital project was the CAD project. That would come out of the 911 tax fund. We've reserved those monies for that. And we hope to be coming back to you very soon. Brooke and her team and the sheriff and his team have a meeting with some vendors coming up. And we hope to be bringing that back to you. But that would be out of the 911 tax fund to
Okay.
cover that cost.
And just, if you don't mind, Brad, while you're here,
Yes, sir.
just for the public that's watching, and even the audience, can you explain the benefits of the Cradle Points?
Yeah.
And what we can do to consolidate and be more streamlined with that, to where people understand what that's about?
Cradle Point is kind of our modem on our truck. There are antennas on top of the ambulances and staff vehicles and chief's vehicles and so forth. What happens is that's where all the internet comes back to. People don't realize it, but all of our cardiac monitors actually use the internet to upload that report either to the hospital or to our Tough Book. Also the CAD, as you mentioned, for AVL, automatic vehicle location, for our ambulances out on the street, dispatch can see where they are. It's a safety feature, but also for turn-by-turn directions it's used. So there's a lot of different features within that ambulance or staff vehicle that's being used for that Cradle Point. So there's a lot of data coming back to that.
Thank
And
you.
all of our new trucks, we're ordering with that as part of the package already.
Chief, you're telling me something I didn't know, which is very interesting. So what happens if you're in an area where there's no internet?
So typically, we get pretty decent internet when our dispatch is tracking us to a call. Most of the time when we're uploading those vital signs from our cardiac monitor is either when we're heading back to the station or at the hospital. So a lot of it's done literally as we're at the hospital, we're pulling up on the apron of the hospital, those vitals are
But it has the
uploaded.
ability to buffer all that information? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, ma'am. It'll upload it to
Okay.
our into the cloud, into our reporting software, our patient records. And then the hospital can get it. All of our admin staff are able to see those records immediately.
I think another key component that we need to touch on, I don't want to get too deep in the weeds, but it's very important to the health and safety of our folks as far as how our people in the street transmit 12 lead EKGs when somebody's actively having a heart attack to the ER, and we can decrease that door to balloon time so they can have a cath lab team waiting for them when they get there. So it, as far as the quality of life, it improves it tremendously.
That's a great point, and I forgot to mention that, Mr. Adams. Thank you for mentioning that. As we talk about not only uploading the vitals, but we do transmit those EKGs to the hospital. Our field providers, we have a great relationship with Centris Cardiology Program. They take our opinion when we say it's a heart attack. They believe it to be fact, but also it allows the cardiologists, so forth, to start seeing what we're seeing in the field, and they start rallying their teams to come in and go immediately to the cath lab. Great point. Thank you for mentioning that.
All right, thank you. Grounds truck replacement.
This is just to upgrade one of our trucks that's about 5 years old. We've already had to replace the motor.
Two.
Yeah, I have one that has to be replaced. We've got to do that, and the other is just is a single cab truck that we have that is really no good to us. It just, you can't haul any mulch on it or anything like that.
Okay. So 2 trucks over 2 years. All right, fire suppression for the IT room and, oh, I'm sorry, I skipped the Goodwin Building treasurers, HVAC. I guess that's self-explanatory.
Yes, sir.
Fire suppression for county IT room and public safety room? So there's no fire suppression in there?
No.
Well, that's self-explanatory. All right. Victoria Drive revenue share. That's if we get the revenue sharing through VDOT. Learning Lane, what is that?
Let me handle that one.
Okay.
That goes back a while. Really over a decade ago, there was a developer that was building a subdivision at the end of Learning Lane in Madison Heights, where Madison Heights Elementary School was. The developer built the roads properly, built them to state standards. When he went to, VDOT actually signed off on the roads, said, good job, they're built to state standards. When we went to put them in the system, VDOT recognized that when Madison Heights Elementary School was built in the 90s, the county school, the county and the schools did not get those roads into the state system. By law, public schools are required to have state roads to them. We were found out of compliance at that time. Previous staff had to work to fix a drainage issue and a number of issues, and eventually got that, years later, that road into the state system. But as a result, the Board of Supervisors about 15 years ago released that developer of his surety because the county had not done their part. So to the residents that live on Learning Lane, we've been working with VDOT to make sure that we've done the right thing for them, to get, there's some improvements that need to be made on Learning Lane. We got some price estimates. VDOT concurred, and so the idea is for us to do our part to help make those improvements so that road can go into the state system.
I
So that's
thought
ju-
last year we did the victory dance on Learning Lane.
We had it in the budget, it didn't make it.
I thought, I could have sworn we were done with it. Okay,
You didn't dance hard enough, though.
apparently.
All right, is there any questions up to Learning Lane? Anybody? All right, moving on. Monroe Building overhaul. We did the windows last year.
The Monroe Building overhaul does include basically that. There were some different requests in the CIP for Monroe Building. One included the new roof and one included painting. So we decided to put everything together and just try to do a full budget to overhaul that entire building because it needs it, which would include the roof and the painting and redoing some of the rooms and just bringing it up to where it should be.
Okay. IT disaster plan. Can we talk about that in public?
Yeah, I think so, for now.
Okay.
I'll be careful. Okay, what this is, and most every locality has this, there's not a written disaster recovery resilience, some people say disaster recovery, some people say disaster resilience, plan in place for the county in the event of, it could be a natural catastrophic event, it could be a cyber attack, and to ensure our continuity of operations, how's this handled, if it's a cyber attack, what's our route there, to prevent data loss, downtime, paying employees. It's a structured plan that lays out exactly what happens in the event of a disaster.
Does it cover what happens if it burns up because you don't have fire suppression?
It probably does, yes, sir.
Let's make sure that's in there. Okay. All right, thank you. Administration parking lot. Is that this parking lot?
Yes, sir, some of it is. Some of it is resealing this parking lot that's out front, and a portion of this quote is to pave the church parking lot across the street.
Okay. Fuel trailer.
Fuel trailer, Jeremy.
Currently, we use a retired truck. We have to go up and down the hill about 4 times a day to get enough fuel to fuel everything up. So this would be, we could put everything in there, hydraulic oil, grease, everything, to where we can do it all in one trip instead of having to send a guy down for 30 minutes, put 100 gallons in, to go back up, to empty it out, to then come back down and get another 100 gallons. Just something to be more efficient.
So this is for equipment at the landfill? Okay.
But also, when we come out, we would be able to pull it up the road. It's no, we could bring it out like up here to fuel up stuff too.
All right, cool. Replacement, don't leave, replacement roll-off truck. That's you
Yes,
too, right?
we're about 5 years in and starting to have to replace some of the trucks. We're just getting a lot of miles on them.
So, Mr. Chair, if I may.
Yes, sir.
So, I'm just gonna kind of go sideways and think outside the box here for a minute. We came in under budget for cell 2, correct?
Some.
Right? How much did we predict as far as the savings?
We actually had a prediction. Ms. Morgan's working on that. It's less than we had predicted. We were working on that number to bring back to you. But we do have savings, yes.
So you thinking about using that?
I'm just saying, if it comes down to it, that may be an option. Yeah, well, or could we do that with that debt?
We have consulted with Davenport. We believe we could, but we're trying to firm that number up for you, and we're going to bring it back to you. But
Okay.
we have asked Davenport that question.
I would like to explore that possibility.
Okay.
I don't like paying for stuff like that with long-term debt, but desperate times call for desperate measures, right? So we just need to look at all the options.
So that's a good point, Mr. Adams. So it'd be nice to know what those savings are and if they could be applied to what the landfill's needs are. All right. Courthouse security updates. My goodness.
So this is actually submitted from one of the I think it's either J&D or General District, and they are requesting for their side of the courthouse to have security updates. I believe one side of the courthouse received updates a year or so ago, and theirs did not receive everything, so they're requesting for their side to be done as well.
But we didn't update security in the entire courthouse.
Not from my understanding. I could be wrong. Am I wrong?
That makes perfect sense. Okay, garage fire.
Wait a minute, I got a question on that one. Is
Yes,
that
ma'am.
request coming from the judge, or is it a departmental request? I'm assuming since it's blue, it's departmental?
No, I think that's from one of the clerks, from either General District Clerk or J&D. It was not from one of the judges, no ma'am.
Garage at the fire training facility. This is
Yes, sir. This is just a basic garage, concrete floor, metal garage insulated to get some of our trailers and so forth out of the weather. Just so we don't have everything sitting out like we do now.
Gotcha. All right, does anybody have any questions on the blue section? Going once, twice? All right, Sarah Lou Christian Trail.
I'll do that one. We historically looked at what the Department of Conservation and Recreation was matching and allocating grants to localities. So we put 50,000 in, which was about it's an 80-20 match. We still have easement along the river in CVTC property, so we can further extend that trail. We're actually working on that now with Mr. Castillo in the James River Stream Bank Stabilization Project. This would further it, and we believe would likely get it close to the end of that property would be our hope. But of course, we have to apply for that. So we're building that into the budget.
So that's the trail extension.
Yes, sir.
Administration building updates.
This quote includes redoing the floor across our hallway and in the front door where the tiles are shifting as you come in the front of the administration building, redoing all the floors all the way down in front of Mr. Bryant's office and in front of planning and zoning. It also includes renovating our bathrooms and includes renovating our employee lounge to include new countertops and cabinets and all that.
Y'all need about a drink machine in there too, but anyway. All right, utility body.
How y'all doing? So currently we have 3 maintenance trucks. Mine has a utility body on it. The other 2 just have regular pickup beds with black boxes on top of them, no room for storage or anything.
Okay. So, I mean, do you have the truck? You just
Yeah.
put this on the
Yeah,
truck?
we was gonna take the pickup beds off, put the utility bodies on.
How old are those trucks?
One is 2019, the other one's 2017. All of them, both of them under the highest mileage is 30,000 miles.
Okay. Gotcha. Thank you. Future Kilgore Park, what's involved with this one?
In conjunction with Parks and Rec, we're currently going through the development of the Kilgore Park, which was donated to the county. This was one of the first developments written into the Parks and Rec master plan. We're currently going through conceptual design. As soon as we finalize that with a group of stakeholders that are working towards this park, we have a quote from Hurd and Profit to work on that civil design. And this is to send out RFP to establish the bones of the park, and then go back for funding in future years.
That's for the park design?
Correct.
Okay.
Civil design.
Amherst Library paint.
This is to paint the columns and the outside of the library, right?
$95,000, okay.
I'm going to combine the 2 library quiet rooms just as a description. We put one higher than the other because the library board has agreed to give $25,000 towards one of them. The quiet rooms were submitted, of course, by Jacob, and they would be basically walls, insulated walls, to block not only outside noise but inside noise as well, so that people could use for meeting spaces if they don't have a quiet meeting space to come and study and that would be for the 4 walls and insulation for each of those rooms. And like I said, one is ranked higher than the other because the library board would be contributing $25,000 to that 50.
Health Department renovation.
Take that one.
Melissa, you might have some more details on this, but essentially what we did, we were asked to look at another location for the registrar. We've been receiving complaints for years that the registrar doesn't have enough room and that it's difficult for citizens to go through the courthouse, and maybe that's a good thing, but to go through and vote and go through all the security and that kind of thing. So we've explored. We learned that the health department here in our building does have space that's unused. We explored that area. They've agreed to give us some space. As a result of that, I brought Melissa and her team in. Melissa, I'll let you give some more details on what you did.
Yes, so we worked with Hurt and Profit. This would be gutting that specific space that the health department would allocate to us. In that agreement, they would also like us to renovate a portion for them. And then this would include any access control that the registrar would need for any locking points for voting machines and things like that.
And basically redoing the space then for the registrar. So it's gutting, it's redoing it a space for the health department, and then it's putting a space for the registrar. Basically, you're recreating an entire new space. We think the number's way too high, but that's the number we got as a result.
Let me be clear. So they want to move from the courthouse because it's difficult to go through the security, but they want to come here and renovate it and then put security measures in place.
There would be access control, but they wouldn't be going through the deputies to vote.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah, I can probably speak to that a little bit. So I don't know if last time you were in there and you went through everything where the electoral, where they are packed to the gills. Now, can they continue to live like that? Sure, they've done it for a while. But with the procedures and regulations being put on them by the state, it's getting increasingly difficult. Is it a must-have? No.
Okay. Oh, no, I'm thinking. Okay, so we're not debating them right now. Okay. GIS strategic plan.
So during the strategic plan interviews with the departments, a lot of departments expressed the need to add additional layers to the current GIS. They didn't feel maybe we were utilizing it as in-depth as we could be for the departments, the multiple departments involved, public safety, commissioner revenue, community development. And so this would be to have that study done that would talk about the layers, what we can add, establish roles, who would take care of it, and that type of thing, and going forward to make it a more usable tool for the citizens as well as the departments.
Right now, any data that's put in our GIS goes through Timmons. So we
Yes,
have
sir.
no staff doing GIS work.
Not a dedicated GIS person, and you'll see that in one of my salary position requests.
Very good.
Okay?
All right, and library quiet room, so we covered that one, all right? Is that it?
The Monroe ball field fence,
Oh,
but that's self-explanatory.
The ball field fence, and then Sheriff Ayers had that additional one that was on top of your books.
Oh, yes, Sheriff Ayers, what is that one? These spectacles out, what is it?
Body cameras.
Body
Oh,
cameras.
body cameras, that's
Yeah.
self-explanatory.
So that current request is a copy of what was submitted last year. I did ask that, due to inflation, my practice is to just increase a quote from year to year 10%. However, they also said that there was additional vehicles now, so that price of $145 would obviously go up. So we thought budgeting $200,000 for this year would be more in line with where they're probably going to get a new quote in at.
Okay, so the current request would be for roughly 146,000.
Well, that was the request from last year, but we're going to take it up to 200,000 this year. So 200,000 is what is actually included in the CIP budget that I presented to you earlier. That is just all the copies that they presented last year.
I got you, and this is a several-year replacement, is that what it is? 5-year.
So Sheriff, I think it's kind of like what Mr. Beam's doing, Chief Beam's doing. This is kind of like a lease purchase deal.
That is correct. Board members, we actually were able to get some numbers just a few minutes before coming down here. Total package on all the equipment is a total of $1,373,248.85. Broken down over a 5-year plan is $274,449.77 per year.
Okay, but do you get them all up front and then
Yes.
you paint? Okay.
Yes.
So everybody gets a body?
All installation equipment, everything's included, and it's kind of like we did on the tasers, Mr. Martin, when we had to upgrade all the tasers. And then we're making that payment for 5 years, 70-some thousand every 5 years to that equipment is paid for as well.
Okay.
Sheriff, what happens, I'm sorry, Mr.
All
Chair.
right, go ahead.
In the event of failure of a device, is a maintenance plan that's included in this
There would be.
structure?
And currently, we're down 27 cameras. 27 either vehicles that are operable or new vehicles that have no cameras in them. We've got approximately 20 that are still functioning, but getting the parts for these cameras and getting them fixed is pretty much when one goes down, unless it's something very simple, it's done
Okay.
because of the age of them.
All right, and to go along with that, in the event that we was to have catastrophic failure from the in-car, or let's just say an officer, obviously we hope it never happens, but gets in a scuffle and damages a body cam, do we have any, I guess, I don't want to use the word fluff, but do we have any contingency money in there to be able to cover the replacement of a device?
That
or
would be, the equipment would be insured.
Okay, easy enough. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you all.
Okay, board, anything in green, do you have a question? I think that was a very good synopsis overview of all the items, so thank you all very much. You want to give us just the total breakdown cost of what everything would be? You just want to go over those numbers, or you just want us to read them on our own? I can read it.
Like I said, the amount that's included in your budget well, except for the 74,000 that he has presented tonight, I didn't expect it to go up that much. The $3.9 million figure is included in your budget, plus 200,000 for for Sheriff Ayers' request, which will actually have to go up.
So about 4.2 million to do
Yes.
everything.
Yes.
Okay. Very good. All right, so we've done revenues, done request, and now we've done the capital budget. Anything else?
Do you want to do positions?
I'm here.
Here, as long as y'all are.
Very good, okay.
Okay, so this is the total of positions requests, 33 altogether. We're going to start with mine. I am requesting the 32,000 includes 30,000 for part-time help and 22.95 for FICA and Medicare taxes that go along with the 30,000. I am requesting this as a temporary part-time person until the treasurer and commissioner of revenue go fully on board with RDA. Currently, any revenue receipts that are taken in through the treasurer's office are posted to Bright, which is the old financial system. They have to be double keyed into an Excel spreadsheet to be imported into our new system, RDA. It's proven to be a very timely and tedious process, and we're unable to keep up with that currently. So I am requesting just a temporary part-time person to come in each day and key the previous day's entries in until everyone goes live on RDA.
All right, not to put you on the spot, but
Yes, sir.
Mr. Adams and I met with you.
Yes, sir.
You need this position now.
Yes, sir. Ms. Vire has agreed to allow me to have, so we're going to use $10,000 of the approved RDA budget for right now.
Are you getting the position now somehow?
I've got somebody. They're going to be here tomorrow.
Okay, good, all right. Information technology. Public safety. Chief, you sure are coming up here a lot.
But may I just, I want to interject real quick. What Tracy built in when you're seeing this $125,000 includes a worst case scenario. So it includes all the benefits, includes medical, retirement, and it also includes the worst case scenario if someone comes in and does a family plan on the health insurance. So it's what Tracy's built in is worst case scenario.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll start with the first one. As Brad just said, all three of these, the next three that you see here, I'll go one by one. The public safety IT specialist, I've rated that as the most necessary position of my three requests, and that is based upon the what I see taking place up there now, the fact that we're getting ready to go soon to a new CAD system, and there's no dedicated IT person for, Brad is actually using his team to do IT roles and implement a lot of this software. We're doing a lot of the MDTs, but Brad is actually using his existing staff, and it was noted during the IT strategic plan that there needs to be a dedicated software person in public safety to help implement these programs and you go in depth with the capacity of what these programs are able to do.
Okay.
They would be on the ground floor coming in with the new CAD system, learning it, and able to utilize. It takes that key person with the system, like, to the depth of what Brad has. And Brad, I'm gonna let you, if you wanted to. I know one of the notes that he made to me was an average dispatcher, I believe, Brad, touches technology roughly 10 times when they are taking a call. And 6,000 calls a year? That's a lot of touching technology, just in the 911 center.
Over 100,000 call a year if you include sheriff's department and
Right.
Fire and EMS. So yeah, there's a lot of touches between
Right.
CAD, VSIN, all those different components, and then obviously all the field staff, all the technology they're using.
Right.
Okay. GIS analyst.
Okay, the GIS analyst, that too was a result of the strategic plan study. And that, once again, Mr. Martin, goes back to not having a dedicated resource. We've got functions of the GIS system now. Some reside with community development, some reside in the commissioner. But just making that dedicated person that works solely on taking the GIS and adding additional layers and integrating it between the departments and using it to the full benefit of what it can be used to.
Okay. Application specialist.
Application specialist is for all the other departments. That person would take the software that we have currently, RDA, still somewhat of BAI. We have probably 11 or 12 different software applications running in IT right now. And this would be having that dedicated software person that just can be the liaison between the company and the department or the staff working with them to relay needs, build upon it. They would analyze, hey, is this a software that we can use that would benefit multiple departments and maybe somewhere save cost savings down the road. We do some of that now as we have time. We just somewhat feel like we kind of hit the high spots, but don't get really in depth with a lot of it.
Brian, I'm guessing in this information you gave us, the description of the positions is in there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Vire, on that GIS analyst, I know Mr. Martin asked a moment ago that Timmons is handling majority of that now. If we hire this GIS analyst, will we be able to remove Timmons from the picture?
No.
We will not, Mr. Creasy?
No, you
Okay.
would not.
Okay, all right.
It would enhance your existing GIS.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Any other questions on where we are right now? Okay. A record room clerk.
This request was submitted from Ms. Mazingo. This is so that she can have someone solely for the record room so that citizens coming in having requests to pull deeds and plats and everything are not taken away from her current staff's time. So this would be solely for the record room to help citizens as they come in. And once again, that cost does include the salary along with health insurance and VRS and FICA and Medicare taxes. Also want to say that tomorrow, along with the actual CIP document that you'll receive, you're going to receive a copy of this. That's also going to include another column for you to rank the positions and what you all feel is most important for us to have before next meeting as well.
Grounds tech. I guess that's exactly what it sounds like, right? 2 grounds tech. Maintenance mechanics. I guess just tell us why you need 2 more tech ground techs and what the maintenance mechanic would be doing?
Right now, we maintain over 30 properties, with 5 guys and a 29 corridor person. So we use one of them half day to do the 29, and we're getting a lot more properties to have cut and better maintenance to do to them.
Yeah.
Same with the, mechanic. I have one mechanic to work on 128 pieces of equipment.
Gotcha. All right, board, any questions?
I'm sorry, go ahead, Mr. Cam.
I was gonna ask the 152,000, other equipment for those grounds tech, would it be another vehicle?
Yes, I put a truck, and I think that had a truck in it with another trailer.
Okay. Family service specialist and benefits service specialist. Mr. Nutter.
So, we're just asking for 2 new positions this year, entry-level positions. One is for a family services specialist for adult protective services. The aging population is going up every year, and we've only got 2 full-time people doing investigations. So, just projecting out what our needs are gonna be the next couple of years, it's best to go ahead and make the request now. And then we are requesting an entry-level position with BPS, which we've not had a additional worker back there, in several years, at least since I've been here. And, there's some recent policy changes at the federal level that are making, must be a little more strict on our Medicaid and SNAP applications that could have some financial, outcomes if we don't do that correctly. It could increase the percentage we actually owe as a locality based on our error rates. So we're just requesting another entry-level position to do those applications.
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Matter, on those, what is the process? Because I know some of your staff is either completely or partially state funded, correct?
It's a percentage of each one. Like, for example, the family service specialist, the total compensation for that with benefits and everything is 84,000, but only local funds would only be about 55,000 out of that.
Okay, so we wouldn't be funding the complete 81?
No, no. you
Okay,
wouldn't.
so how about the BPS?
BPS will be slightly less. The local funds with that would only be about $46,000 a year.
Okay.
Out of the $70,000 total.
Is that annotated on the sheets anyway?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you.
Yep.
Any questions on those two? All right, thank you, sir. Mr. Creasy, you're up, buddy. All right, maintenance tech. What kind of equipment you got to work on?
So maintenance is part of a division of community development. I'd cover this for Philip if you have specific questions. We, of course, have him here. We currently have 3 maintenance individuals working in that division. They cover approximately 40 buildings. This is a request for an additional maintenance tech to help with that. You can see within your packet that they put together, in addition to the regular maintenance they perform on the buildings, they routinely save costs for the county by doing projects in-house. This would only enhance that.
All right, I'm confused. So that sounds like a public works item to me. Why is it in community development?
A couple years ago, we restructured and put our 3 maintenance guys under the community development department. They worked under Mr. Young at that time.
Okay, you can educate me more later.
Yes,
All right.
sir.
A reviewer.
Yes, this is a plan reviewer. This would take in site plan, ENS plan, and plan reviews of commercial structures to hopefully have this one person looking at all plans that could be beneficial and help streamline processes, as well as making, when you're doing your civil design, as you know, Mr. Martin, that also plays into the building design as well. Having one go-to person for the county could be a benefit and alleviate some of the other job duties within the department.
So are you expecting this person to do the building plan review too?
Potentially, yes, if they can
And
grow
site
into
plan
it.
review and erosion sediment control?
If they can grow into it. Now, of course, we are multi-trained in multiple ways, so I currently still do ENS plans, so does my assistant. Mr. Young would still continue to do commercial development, so we'd be able to divvy up these projects between the three of us.
Okay. If you find that person for $108,000, let me know. All right, code enforcement, 89,000.
Yep, so currently, the county pays the sheriff's office to have one code enforcement officer over there. Our department does not have a dedicated position for code enforcement. We enforce property maintenance as well as erosion sediment control and zoning. This would help alleviate some of those issues in our department as well by having one person dedicated to such.
And what is the equipment? Is that a?
The equipment is for a vehicle.
Some of these guys are getting some better vehicles than you.
We try to go on the lower end.
I got
We're
you.
gonna put them in the Prius.
It's like you go.
You go, yeah.
All right, medic unit. Guess who it is? Chief Beam. This is for 12 staff for 5th medic.
Yes, sir. This should put a 5th medic unit service. You know, a few years ago, we put a 4th ambulance on 24 hours a day. We've seen overwhelming success with that. We've cut our response times down greatly. Our incident calls continue to go up. This year alone, 6% increase. So this adds a 5th medic unit 24 hours a day, and also adds that relief for the shift for vacation, sick leave, and so forth.
You don't have to answer now, but in the future, how much are we recouping in billing?
It's a great point. 2.2 million is what we're projected for next year. We're excited about that. We celebrate that because when we look around, that's a really high recoup rate. And we just got those numbers, and that's due to our captains doing great QA, Chief Bond, Chief Sandy doing excellent work in the background as well. So we're excited to celebrate that number.
Okay.
On that note, Chief Beam, when are we, I was reading something the other day, when will the Medicaid and Medicare numbers be reviewed again?
Every year. So you all in the county code, it's set for 150.
Yeah, I know we don't have to vote on it
Yeah,
anymore.
150%. We just did that in January. So every
Okay, so
January
it just
1,
happened.
I send our billing company to tell them that we want to increase based on the Medicare rates, and that's done annually.
How much was that increase in January?
Oh gosh, it's marginal, so maybe
Okay.
$45, $50 per.
Okay, so nothing to write home
nothing,
about.
nothing huge. But we're going to come back to you in the future and talk to you about drug box billing. That's something that we can add because we now do ourselves, as well as oxygen billing, because those are things that we cover in house. So we'll bring you that back at a future date to look at maybe visiting that as well.
When you recoup those funds, what category does that go to?
It all goes back in the general fund. That's just, 'cause, you know, as you well know, we can't deliver the service for 2.2 million. You all as a board are gracious and the citizens for allowing us to use tax money for that. That's just a portion of that, and it comes back to the general fund.
Fire department, 4 people.
Yes, sir. It's just adding 2 additional people, or adding 2 people, 2 at Amherst, 2 at Manalapan during the day. Volunteers continue to do a great job. This is just working together to help boost during the day. We know a lot of people are working and so forth. This just helps get a little more coverage during the daytime hours.
So there's 1 at Amherst now.
Yes, sir.
There would be 2 at Manalapan. So wouldn't that be 3? Why is it
Well,
4?
no, so it's 4. So what it would do, Chief, is they would work 10.5-hour days, 4 days a week each person.
Okay.
So it would give you coverage, let's say from 6 a.m. to later in the day, or 7 a.m., just to kind of spread that time out a little bit longer.
Gotcha. Let's skip over, was a communications manager yours?
Yes, sir. Communication manager, that's an assistant manager to help Brooke. As you all know, Brooke has a huge role. Our role continues to increase working with the Sheriff's Department, the VSIN, and all the compliance we have to do with that. And so this person would help her do a lot of those roles. QA, which we don't get a chance to do a lot of on the dispatch side, this would help do some of those functions as well.
Just help me a little bit, Chief. So
Yes, sir.
Captain Coleman, right? She's a captain.
She's a division manager, so she would be equal to a chief level. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
so Chief Coleman does all the radios and does a
She
phenomenal
does.
job with that.
She does.
Who's doing your CAD and stuff now?
She does all that as well.
Okay, so your public safety IT specialist would be taking over the CAD role.
They could help some of the CAD role. They could potentially help with radios, dual function that, so that could take some of the responsibility off. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Dispatchers too.
Yes, sir. That's just, we have 4 dispatchers during the day on a daylight shift. We have 3 at night. Because of vacation and so forth, our policy there was always 2 at night. We now maintain 3 at least until 11 p.m. But as you well know, you get a structure fire or something during the night. This would help ensure that we have 3 at night, or at least 3 during a split shift.
All right, anyone have any questions for Chief Bean? I'm guessing the tourism specialist isn't yours.
No, sir, but I can make something up.
I'm sure you can.
I'd like to hear it, just for,
Yeah, go ahead.
just for the heck
Well,
of it.
tourism is very important to Amherst County, as you all know, and beautiful, perfect slice of Virginia. I'm just kidding. I'll digress.
Mr. Nixon?
I don't know, Randy, he sold it pretty good for you.
Yeah, he did.
Well, what I've requested for is a tourism specialist. We've met with I met with Jeremy and Tracy. Something I pushed for a while. The history of tourism is, well, by name, I'm the tourism director, and but I feel like we're not getting our money's worth. Currently, what we're asking for is someone that can jump in there, be at the visitor center. Currently, the chamber opens the visitor center for us. Personally, I don't think we're getting the bang for our buck. We're losing out on a lot of revenue and that type of thing, and I think this individual would be on site and handle the visitor center. And I think, and Tracy can help me too, the monies are already there. It's through our lodging tax that we have to help pay for this position. And I think overall, it will bring more revenue to the county because they're going to be working directly with different events, like the Apple Festival, the Garlic Festival, will be working with the town, the local businesses to bring in people to this, to the county and to the town. I just see it as a win-win. This person would be putting in packages for the weekend where some come in and play golf at Winton or Poplar Grove, float trips that come in, they'll stay through the weekend. This person will work with the Airbnbs and the lodging folks to set up these package deals, and I think it'd be a win-win for
Is
everybody.
this a part-time position?
No, this is full-time.
For $21,000?
Well, Tracy, go ahead and explain that.
We are proposing that we combine an already existing position with the tourism specialist. We believe that we have a fantastic person in-house that would be wonderful for the job. They obviously can do great graphics and presentations.
So it's not a $21,000?
No, sir. It would be in addition to what the current employee already makes.
Well, that's- okay.
Currently, the tourism budget has to be supplemented with 66% of what we receive in lodging tax revenue, according to the Code of Virginia. So currently, the tourism budget is already by code has to receive $101,000 from us. So 50,000 of that is currently going to the chamber to have that person sit down there and keep the visitor center open. And from my understanding, we justify the other $50,000 to go to Mr. Nixon's advertising budget to promote items within recreation. So this would just be taking a portion of what we already give and supplementing a current employee's salary to take on the extra duties.
So we're not changing our relationship with the chamber, are we?
Yes, sir, we would
Have
be.
you spoken to the chamber?
What was their reaction?
Well, we've met with Sabrina Kennan about 4 or 5 months ago, I guess. And I spoke to her, I guess, end of last week, let her know that we were moving forward with this. I think they are, I just feel like they're not going to be against it. I think we would need to work out some type of arrangement with them in terms of office space there. They have office space as well as a tourism office that is already there. So we would just have to work out some type of deal, because currently the agreement is that they would provide the visitor center and have office space. So we'd have to work out a deal with that. And I think as far as talking to Ms. Kennan, it's not a, we can make it happen, so.
Okay, thank you, sir. All right. Let's move. Anything else?
Any other questions related to the increases? Like I said, you will receive an updated copy of this with extra columns tomorrow, along with an updated CIP listing and an extra column for ratings on that as well. The outside agency requests are also in the back of the booklet that you've received.
Go over those individually again, or?
No, I think we're,
All right, board, do you have any questions? I will say thank you so much. This is a lot of information put together very well, and I, for one, appreciate that. And my message to you, staff, is thank you for what you do. Obviously, we're going to have some very difficult conversations ahead of us, but we're going to do the best that we can for our citizens and for you, I think. So thank you for being here this evening. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion on the floor by Mr. Campbell. All those in favor say aye. Aye. I vote aye. We stand adjourned until 7 p.m.